It's the Go Mike podcast where the mic is golden. This is a podcast. I'm your host, Mark Paul. And today we got Charleston White. All right. Now we all know what's going on with Charleston White between him, T.I.'s son, and Boosie. And I gotta say, man, this is extremely hilarious how T.I. chose to actually respond to Charleston White. Because the thing about Charleston White, what keeps Charleston White going is the fact that people keep responding to him. And as long as you keep responding to Charleston White, he's going to keep on going. Like, you gotta recognize Charleston White as 6ix9ine. Because this is the same playbook. This is the exact same playbook that 6ix9ine used. Is talk all the crap you want to from abroad, and you really don't have no kinds of consequences for it. You could pretty much say whatever you want. Meanwhile, Charleston White is really cracking on T.I.'s son, because I guess T.I.'s son is like some little troubled kid, and it's like, why are you a troubled kid and you grew up rich? You don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what it's like to grow up in quote unquote the hood. So it's like, why are you acting like this? And I think it's funny that T.I. chose to respond to Charleston White, knowing that what keeps Charleston going is the fact that people keep responding to him. People keep responding to Charleston White, trying to have a back and forth match with Charleston White. And I'm going to let you know this right now. There's no winning a back and forth with Charleston White. Charleston White will say practically anything. So a person that'll say practically anything is best that you don't even, debate with them. Because whether they're right or wrong, they're still going to win. Because he will say, like I said, anything, just anything. So we got to really keep that in mind when we're talking about Charleston White. I was saying this about 6ix9ine. I'm like, stop responding to 6ix9ine, and then 6ix9ine will go away. Well, this the same with Charleston. If people really want Charleston to go away, they will just stop responding to his antics, because his antics are there just so he can get attention. He's kind of like Kanye West. He craves attention. So that's not what we're actually here for. We're here because Charleston White got ran up on by some people in West Dallas, and he called the police. So let me pull up that video. Boom. It's not a clear video. It's kind of hard to hear as well, so just kind of try to listen closely. So let's get into the video.
Yeah, look at Charleston White about to get whooped in the West. Next, Charleston White about to get whooped in the West.
Yeah, if y'all can't hear the guy on the that's arguing with Charleston White, we can't see him. I guess he's like on the other side of one of those vehicles, but he's telling Charleston White, "Fuck you and your mama."
They got Charleston White fucked up.
It's like, where are they at? Are they at a truck stop? You hear all that shit he's talking. He's talking all that shit as if he's Billy Badass, and it's hilarious, the outcome of this video. But let's keep on watching.
No, you don't get to pick how we go and how you go, nigga. You don't get to choose how you go, nigga. Yeah, nigga. I'm still away down. I'm still away down.
You hear him? He's saying you can't choose the way it go. And that goes into what I said earlier. You cannot win with Charleston White via a shouting match. You cannot win with Charleston White doing a shouting match. So people just need to understand that if you're going to do something to Charleston White, it's best you just do it. You're going to look like a fool if you pull up on Charleston trying to have a conversation, you know, because he's nothing but a troll. He's the type of person that'll say and do practically anything. So it's best not even to have a verbal confrontation with him. But let's continue.
You look like a bigger hole than everybody out here, nigga. You in your group, nigga.
And you hear all that shit he's talking. It's as if he's Billy Badass. But let's look at the outcome of the video with him bickering with the other guy.
He put a gun on me. He's winning.
Oh, this thing. You hear him. You see the police car. And he's like, he pulled a gun on me. He pulled a gun on me. What happened to all that Billy Badass stuff that Charleston White used to talk about?
A joint, bro. This nigga called the law. Oh, he a hoe.
And you just not knowing that?
He a hoe. This nigga really called the law. This nigga really called the laws, and they came.
You see that? It's like, I keep saying, it's best to just do something to him if you're going to do something to him. I'm not saying to go do something to him, but if you're going to have any type of interaction with him and you're looking to come up on top, talking is not going to be your way to win, bruh. I'm just sorry, because he gonna talk all this shit, and like you see here, he's gonna call the police. But let's finish out the video.
He over there fucking with him.
Did he just say those people are from California, or am I tripping? He hate us from California. He literally hate California people. And it's hilarious, but let's go.
Put the gun in the car. A silver gun. He gave it to one of them. He had me surrounded with his gang buddy. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Police.
You hear him? He's like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Mr. Police. See, this is what I keep saying. It's best to not have a verbal back and forth with this guy. You will not win. I repeat, you will not win a verbal confrontation with Charleston White. So let's stop trying to have verbal confrontation. Stop confronting him, trying to have a civil conversation to try to understand where he's coming from, because he's not about that. He's about clout, shock factor, views, and attention. That's all he's about. So trying to have a civil conversation with a person like that is just pointless. But let's go.
He's the whole thing you made for that fucked up.
He put a gun on me. He was winning.
Oh,
He was winning.
And there he go, pointing out other people. But yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much more time on that video, because Charleston White is a clown. Charleston White is a big clown, and I used to watch Charleston White faithfully. I used to always watch his stuff. The nigga was hilarious to me. I just felt that I thought it was real refreshing that a guy was just speaking how he feels so unapologetically, and and it was quite interesting to watch. But what got me to like pull back from Charleston White was the fact that I realized that, like I said earlier, he will say and pretty much do anything. So once you get to that point where you will say or do anything, it's kind of like it takes away from the authenticity of that person, because I'm thinking that, he's just, this is how he feel, and he's standing on how he feel. But it's a little bit deeper than that. He's just trying to say just about anything to get noticed, and that right there is some boo-boo. I actually had a conversation with a person from Fort Worth about Charleston White. And when I found out the guy was from Fort Worth, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to ask him about Charleston White. So I asked him about Charleston White. I'm like, what do you think about Charleston White? And of course, he was a supporter of Charleston White and his antics. And, me and him was talking about how Charleston White goes out of his way to disrespect dead people, and it's not right. And I believe the guy from Fort Worth, his position was, are those people bad people? Are they gang members? Because it was kind of sound like old buddy from Fort Worth was trying to validate the way Charleston White is by saying that all gang members are bad people. And I'm here to tell you that all gang members are not bad people. There's a lot of people in LA whose parents are gang members. And naturally, them growing up with gang member parents, they adopt those same types of ways that their parents had, and I asked them, I'm like, what if a person, they mama, they daddy, they uncles, everybody in their family was a gangbanger, and they followed what the older people in their family did? How does that make them a bad person? And he's all like, it makes them a bad person because they joined the gang, and if you join the gang, you know what it's about. You know what the gang is about. And I kind of was a little pulled back from that, because I know for a fact that there's people that I grew up with who didn't want to gangbang and really couldn't get away from it. The fact that their parents were so much into it, they were by default a part of it. And I'm like, does that make them a bad person? And he kind of got stuck like I don't know, because a lot of people, that is in that world, whose parents are gang members, they cannot help that they are looked upon as a part of whatever gang is their parents are a part of. There's no way around it. So it's like, how could you really say that, and then I think back to a video with Monster Cody from Kev Mac Videos. And in that video, Monster, he was explaining what led him to being a part of the A-Tray Gangsters, right? So Monster, he told a story about him going to, I believe it was 54th Street Elementary School. And his mother gave him a dime for lunch money, right? And there was a guy at the school, which Monster called him the king of the school, that used to, shake people down for their lunch money. So he approached, the guy approached him and asked him, to break himself, give up his money. And Monster replied and said he didn't have no money, right? He lied and said he didn't have no money. So the guy suggested that he can check him himself, and he said all I find I can have, and Monster agreed to it. So dude went into Monster Cody's pocket and found that dime, and because Monster lied to him about having money, he socked him, cracked him right in the face, right? And that stuck with Monster, because a little bit after that, which I believe it was the next day or it could be same day, I don't really remember, that's when he joined the gang. Monster Cody was just a regular square. He probably was, like he said, he was writing Crip on the wall and stuff. He was already influenced, like a lot of us are, because that's the area that we grew up in. If you grew up in a certain climate or circumstances, you're going to be basically a product of that. So after he got cracked, he felt the need that he needed protection. So that was what made him join the gang. So it's like from the day that he went to school, was he a good person? And then when he got put on, does that automatically make him a bad person? Because he was looking for protection when he got put on, So it's kind of one of those things where you have to really look at that individual person, because I don't believe that a person is automatically a bad person just because they joined a gang. Because a lot of people think that everybody in a gang has killed people, and that's not the case. There's a lot of people who join gangs that are, they never killed anybody. They barely had fights with people. So to say that they are automatically a bad person is kind of a stretch, because you really have to look at that individual person and that individual person's character to really determine whether or not they are a bad person or not. I don't think you are a bad person just solely based off a choice that you made, but you become a bad person if you continue to develop these bad ways, and that's how you become a bad person. I just don't think that you're a bad person just solely because you're a part of the game. And I just think that it's unfortunate for some young people that they are put in that position. Like, I had friends that was not gang banging that end up gang banging just solely based off somebody in their family or somebody close to them was gang banging and got killed. And in return, they wanted to avenge that murder, just like in the Bible that they say an eye for an eye, so they wanted to get their lick back. So they joined the gang to have some type of support in getting their lick back. Does that make them automatically a bad person because they want get back for what happened to someone close to them? Like, if somebody punches you, you're going to just sit there and let them punch you? No, you're going to punch them back. And that's the same thing. If somebody do something to to a person in your family or somebody that you close to, you're going to want to get back, But I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. I'm going to go ahead and end it like this. It's the Gold Mike Podcast, where the mic is gold, and it's the podcast. I'm your host, Mark Paul, and I'm out.